I hope it will. Uh, as some of you know, I live in the back of beyond, and I have a lot of problems connecting, making phone calls, everything, metal roof, metal walls, whatever it is, whatever the deal is. So, anyhow, today is Friday the 13th, and I hope your day was wonderful. I hope you had a wonderful day. But our day, well, it wasn't horrible, but there was some problematic parts of it. So, while I'm getting ready to talk about that, let me just start chaining. So, how am I going to do this? Oh, yeah, I'm going to go all the way around. So, I'm going to do a chain. I'm going to start at the rim or brim, band, whatever. My daughter put on this hat so I could see how big, and she said maybe a little tighter than this one. So that's what I'm shooting for. And I'm not counting or anything. I'm just doing it because it's easier that way. And I think that if I just kind of eyeball it, it'll work out. I think it'll work out. What do you think? I think it will. So hopefully we are still connected. It's a rainy day, and that's good because it'll get rid of the last vestiges of snow on the ground, and hopefully feed the bulbs that my daughter and I planted today. We planted a bunch of bulbs that she had bought last fall from Blaine's Farm and Fleet, which is in Rice Lake, Wisconsin. And I think it was the end of the season, like, they weren't really the best. They weren't really the best. Let's just say that. So we planted them anyway. Also, they stayed in a box all winter. So we'll see if they grow. That would be nice. I love growing things. I love gardening. I can't remember even what we planted. I don't have any idea. But they were flowers. That would be fun. Flowers are good. Let's see what we're getting here. Okay, got a little bit more to go. So what I'm doing is I'm just measuring it up against that to kind of eyeball it. So my hardest part is coming up right now because I have a tendency to twist it when I'm getting ready to connect it. And I don't want to do that because then that just makes an uglier rim. I'm going to do a couple more and then I'm going to call that good enough. And then I'll try and hook it up together without twisting it. See if that works. Is it going to work? I think it will. I think it'll be okay. Okay, so first I'm just going to go around. Okay, I've got the chain for the head. You know what? I think I might take a few off. Her head is smaller than mine. Let's see. That probably, maybe even a little bit more. Isn't this exciting? Okay, so now I've got to try and line it up again. Let's see, hopefully that will line up good. If not, maybe I can figure it out at the end of it. Slip stitch to join, tighten that up a little bit. Okay, so the way Fiber Spider does is he does a chain 2 at the beginning of the next row because we're doing it in the round, and he doesn't count that as as double crochet. So I'm actually only going to chain one, and I'm going to do single crochet all the way around because I want a nice foundation. So I'm just going to try and get it in there and go from there. And the first ones are always the hardest. Okay, so Friday the 13th. You know, I just mainly think it's BS because I think people think about bad things and then they happen and then they say, oh, it was because it was Friday the 13th. But I really think it's because they thought about bad things and they kind of attracted bad things to themselves. And so I really kind of forgot about it over the course of the day. This morning I went grocery shopping. That went normally. Everything was fine. We're still struggling with the furnace situation, putting on a transformer and relay switch, and it has not gone well. We bought that from Granger. I thought Granger was a good company. Maybe it is a good company. I'm not dissing Granger, but the first one that came was literally busted to bits. The box was crushed. The plastic of the housing of the thing was crushed. It was just awful. So I called them up and I said, it's broken. And they said, oh, just throw it away. We'll send you another one. So that tells you how much they're really worth. If they can just throw them away and I offered, I'll show you a picture. I'll take a picture and show you where it's broken. No, that's all right. I trust you. Just throw it away. So we didn't throw it away, not because we're going to reuse it, but because we could use it as a visual, like to help us just figure out what's going on as we installed the new one that came. So the new one came. We had to wait another 10 days or something. The new one came, installed it, didn't work. Fiddled around with it, came up with some different things. ChatGPT helped a lot in trying to discover why it wasn't working. And then it worked and it seemed like, oh, this is great. And it seemed to be working great, except there was a buzzing noise. Now, a buzzing noise could be normal. According to everything I saw on the internet, it could be normal because sometimes they just buzz. But we use the little thermometer gun, you know, like here, this thing, and you do that, and then it tells you what temperature. Ooh, what temperature am I? I'm 91 degrees. So we did that, and it was over 200 degrees. That is not normal. It should be operating temperature, I think it's at 85. So that wasn't good. So we fiddled around with it a little bit more and then decided, nope, this isn't going to work. So we disconnected the electricity to it because if it got up that hot in the middle of the night, it could burn down the house. So again, another night with no heat. Yep, just great. And right now it's nice outside. It's 63 degrees outside. So that's, that's not bad. I can live with that. But it might get pretty cold tonight later, and that would not be nice. So we'll just see what happens. Just hope for the best. But the other thing that happened is my grandson, my great-grandson, went to school. And because tomorrow is Valentine's Day, they did their Valentine's Day party at school today. And he was very excited. Obviously, he's a little kid. He's going to be excited. And they gave them goodie bags. And this is the way I understand it took place. So he got a little goodie bag and had Snoopy, the dog, Snoopy, cartoon character, on the bag. And inside there were some Hershey's Kisses. And he excitedly ate the Hershey's Kisses. He thought that was great. He liked them. He thought maybe they tasted a little funny. Don't know. Maybe they were an off-brand. Maybe, I don't know. And then he looked at the bag. Now, the thing about Spencer is he's got a peanut allergy. So he is very, very terrified of accidentally eating peanuts. Do you know what the cartoon is called that little Snoopy character is from? It's called Peanuts. And on the outside of the bag, it said Peanuts. Not because it contained peanuts, but because it was the cartoon Peanuts. But Spencer believed that he had just consumed peanuts. And immediately he probably was having a panic attack. Felt like he couldn't breathe. He called his dad. His dad came and got him, took him home, gave him some Benadryl. He's all right. He's fine. He didn't really eat peanuts. But can you imagine? Can you imagine his terror? And then he had to miss out on the rest of his Valentine's Day party. Jeez. So it's been a day. But then towards the afternoon, towards the evening, my daughter and I went out and planted those bulbs that were old and pretty shriveled. And, I don't know what the names of them were, but hopefully they'll grow. Hopefully they'll be neat. That'll be fun because I love flowers. So if you had something bad happen to you today, tell me about it. I want to hear, because then maybe I won't feel so bad about the bad stuff that happened to me. Oh, somebody's sending me messages. It seems like whenever I go to do a live, people send me messages, and I'm not exactly sure why. It's like they have ESP or something, and then they send me messages. So again, if hopefully this is not pixelated, hopefully this is coming through all right. The signal, I've got it on 5G because the Wi-Fi cuts out continuously. So hopefully I've got a good signal and you can hear me and you can see. Not that there's nothing to hear or see, who cares? So let's see. Has anybody saying anything interesting? Okay, Amanda. Amanda Nelson 6619. Are you still there? Nope. How about Jenna Vasquez 155? Are you still there? Nope. Okay, so what happens, I think, and for those of you who are just watching this and thinking, what the heck? Why did these people leave these odd messages? I really think that it's like bots, and they want some kind of interaction because it helps their standing in the algorithm. And to me, any kind of interaction helps with the algorithm, so I don't care. Go ahead, say whatever. And sometimes I respond, sometimes I don't because my eyes are elsewhere and I'm not really thinking about it. But if people have something to say, I'll gladly talk to anybody. I will respond. I will communicate. But just saying, said hi, please sub. Why would I subscribe to you and I don't know anything about you? So tell me about you. What's cool about you? Why do you want me to subscribe? Because I subscribe to a lot of channels and I watch a lot of channels. I watch craft stuff. I watch building stuff. I watch nature stuff. I watch cats. Yeah, I watch cats. Yeah, so tell me about yourself. And if it's something that I would be interested in watching, I'll watch it and I'll subscribe. But I'm just not going to subscribe to somebody just because you said, please subscribe. I'm just not going to do that. And I wouldn't expect anybody to subscribe to me just for no reason, because that'd be weird, So I watched a video today. My daughter said, oh, here, you got to watch this. And the lady's name was, oh gosh, what is her channel? That girl from Ohio, maybe? Something like that. If I think of it, I'll put it in the description down below after the fact. So she isn't probably an Uber driver, or maybe she's a DoorDash driver. That's right, because she had some funny play on words about dashing. So she's a DoorDash driver and she makes videos. She makes videos like every single day about her activities of DoorDashing and delivering food to people. And she got lots of subscribers, but she didn't have the watch hours to be monetized. And so she finally somehow managed to get monetized. And in her first month of monetization, so she had built up 15,000 subscribers just over the course of the period of time that she was making these videos, like every single day made a video. Then she started doing shorts, and that doesn't count, just in case you didn't know. Shorts do not count towards your your watch hours to get monetized. So people, just in case you don't know, this is how it works. You have to have 1,000 subscribers, and to be fully monetized, which means you get paid for those ads you see before and after and in the middle of the videos you watch. The people whose videos those are interrupting don't get paid unless they have 1,000 or more subscribers, and in the last 365 days people have watched their long form videos, not their shorts, their long form videos, for 4,000 hours or more. So that's a drop in the bucket for somebody who's very well established and already has a large following, and that's hardly anything. But when you're just starting out, as this lady was, she just couldn't get those hours up. She got like 15,000. Yes, that girl from Ohio. Yes. Hey, hi there, Casey Urban Farm. So she managed to get those 15,000 subscribers. So she was good on that, but she did not have the hours that she needed. And Casey Urban Farm, can you remind me of how what did she do? What was her strategy to get those hours? Was it just doing a lot of shorts, and then the shorts led to people watching her longer form videos? Do you remember that? Oh, she might not be here anymore. She might have dropped out, because actually my signal is probably bad. So look, I'm working on your hat. So anyway, she managed to get it. And in her first month of monetization, she made over $1,600. And that was for 19 days, because it was 19 days in January is what was left of the month. So that was pretty cool. Okay, Casey Urban Farm says, if I recall, it was a combination of shorts and long form, and finally just hit the right algorithm. Yep, that's probably it. And I just am so happy for her that she managed to do that, because that's a big hurdle. And once you get over that hurdle, it's almost like you started a snowball rolling down a hill and you just start gathering steam. I think that that's probably pretty much the same for everybody, no matter what your subject matter is. Once you get over that hurdle, it just starts collecting. So that's pretty cool. Yes, so if you are watching this now or later, Casey Urban Farm is my daughter, and she grows things. She grows wonderful things, and she has quite the green thumb, and her gardens are cool. She has raised gardens. She has hoops over places so that she can grow things that vine overhead, and it's just very, very nice. And she's the one who gave me the bulbs, and we planted the bulbs together. So that was a fun project this afternoon before it rained, because I think it's raining now. Yeah. So anyway, if there is somebody you follow, and this is something I think I knew this, but it's like it didn't go in my brain really very good. But if there's somebody you follow that you want to support them, you should watch the ads on their channel all the way through. Don't skip them, because when they get paid, that girl from Ohio posted or showed her payment, and how she got paid, and how they counted the time, and how she was going to get monetized, or she was going to get money for. If people didn't watch the video or the ads, if they skipped the ads, she didn't get paid. So don't skip the ads. Watch the ads. Even if you have to mute the sound, or whatever you have to do to not go insane, because some of the ads are absolutely moronic, and I understand that. And people on YouTube do not have any say-so in, I don't think they do, in what kind of ads show on their channel. But I think that probably what happens is I don't know if you would call this part the algorithm, but it probably looks for keywords or subject matter in a video, and then kind of matches that up with ads. Casey Urban Farm, would you agree with that? That's probably what it does? Because they're not going to put like for instance, on your channel, they probably wouldn't put, well, maybe they would put power tools because you do some crafty things. So I don't know, but they're like, they just wouldn't put something that didn't match what the subject matter is. Okay, here's an example. They probably wouldn't put women's clothing on one of those channels where the guy goes out into the wilderness and and builds a house and it's completely silent. They probably wouldn't do that. So it usually matches. I don't know why you're calling me burden on earth. There's somebody said, oh, they're just being jerks. They just like to call people names and tell people their mean stuff. So Casey Urban Farm says, yes, the ads match the content generally, and then I believe you can bypass offensive ads as the content creator. Well, that's good to know, because you really probably wouldn't want offensive ads. You know, that would not be good, especially if you had strong belief system or, you know, moral point of view, life view. You probably wouldn't want something that would offend you on your channel. And so it's good that you get an opportunity to maybe not have to do that. Yeah, people are weird. People post weird stuff. And actually, it doesn't bother me personally that people post offensive things or insult me or something. You know, it doesn't really bother me personally. But I find them repulsive. People who would do that, they're repulsive. And so if they find me repulsive, they can turn the channel. They have walked into my living room, actually, as the case may be, my kitchen, and called me names, which is weird. It's like, why would you do that? You must be defective. And that's kind of how I feel about it. There was a guy back when I was in Nevada over Christmas, and I was walking in the desert, and he just was horrible. I'm assuming it was a he. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was a girl. I don't know. Just horrible, calling me names, you know, just saying weird stuff, and I'm not even going to go into the stuff he said. It was just really offensive. And I did kind of lose my cool a little bit because it's so gross. It's so gross. And you know what? These people, they're Trumpers. What in the heck? You say you're a Christian and you get on somebody's channel and you call them names? What kind of weird shit is that? I don't know. Well, anyway, that's my sermon for the day. Okay, I won't respond to that. Yeah, so I will probably continue working on this hat until it becomes too cold in here to do that because we have no heat again. Yeah, I do have an electric blanket though, thankfully. So I'll be warm once I get in bed, but it might be kind of chilly in here. Okay. Yeah, I think that'll work. I think it'll work because, as I said, her head is smaller than mine. And also, when I put the ribbing on, when you do the ribbing, and this is ribbing, it kind of sucks it in a little bit. It kind of pulls it in a little bit. So, and then that's stretchy. So that will make it a little snugger, and it will still stretch to accommodate anything like that. And it looks like I did not screw up. I did not twist it when I joined it, so that's a good thing. Or if I did, I can fix it right now. But the other thing I want to do is I want to kind of suck this little booger in there, this little tail. I just want to work it right in. Okay, so now that I got that, that's my foundation. I'm going to do chain two, and I'm going to do a double crochet Actually, I want to put it right there. I want to put that double crochet right in that same one. So that's going to be my first stitch. And then, so this is the part you got to watch Fiber Spider to understand how to do this, because he shows it very good. But when you start the ribbing, what you want to do is, well, actually I have to go all the way around first and get my foundation thing. So I will just go all the way around with double crochets, and it should go faster now. Oh, I want to catch that little string. It should go faster now because I've got that single crochet all the way around, which kind of makes it easier to grab hold of, and you can just kind of do it easier. Okay, there's a nice little stitch right there that I want to grab. And the reason why I want double crochets is because I'm going to do the ribbing, you have to kind of have that be a double crochet. And the reason why this is fiddly right here is because I have to catch that loose piece, loose little tail from beginning the row. I have both of them? Nope. Okay, so as I go around, this little tail that was from the beginning, I'm kind of tucking it in there so that it's hopefully going to be hidden. So I know somebody who likes to read, like, I don't know, just articles, I think. Just articles, just generally articles, maybe news articles, or I don't know, and argue with the people in the comments. They like to comment really negative things and then argue. And I think that that's a sign of somebody that is very, very unhappy. And so if you are very, very unhappy, you probably need community, because I think having a community is the most important thing to finding happiness in your life. And your community should support you and care about you and make sure that everything's going well with you. And if you don't have that, you're probably more likely going to be an unhappy person and try and make other people unhappy too. But the thing about having community is when somebody who is unhappy tries to make me unhappy, it doesn't work, because I have a community who keeps me feeling very, very safe. So I just want to say, I hope for every single one of you, you have a community that keeps you feeling very, very safe. And for those people who are unhappy and don't have a community, I hope you figure it out one day. And for that, I'm going to stop. I'm at 28 minutes now. It's 7 o'clock. I can feel myself getting tired, and it's getting cold in here. So I'm going to go warm up and continue crocheting, and I will talk to you later. Bye.